Hi everyone, hope you are feeling positive and healthy. Please subscribe with bell notifications if you haven't already, and please don't hesitate to leave your valuable feedback and advice below. Thank you very much. Let's jump into the stories. Am I the unreasonable one for declining to attend my best friend's wedding? For background information, I, 27 years old female, have been dating my partner, 28 years old male, since we were 12 to 13 respectively. I'm black and my partner Sven is Swedish. My only close family members passed away when I was 15 in a car accident. It was traumatizing and I'm still struggling with survivor's guilt to this day. I still have a huge scar on the back of my neck. Needless to say, I've had to build a new family life and Sven family has been so kind and loving since the accident. I hope that's enough info. Onto the story. Sven and I have a tight circle of friends, one of which is Anya, a family friend of Sven's. I've always felt that Anya doesn't like me. I don't talk a lot, but I show my affection and appreciation in other ways. That doesn't mean I'm non-confrontational, but with Anya I tend to say nothing because of her status as a family friend of the people who basically adopted me. Anya likes to make comments about my hair, which is usually braided, my passive personality and my ethnicity. It really hurts, but I bite my tongue. Anya got engaged to another one of our friends Ned. The two are planning a white tie wedding. We received the invitations and read through the various guidelines. Everything was pretty strict, but I was happy to just go along with everything. However, one of the guidelines stated they don't want any unnatural hairstyles and colors. My braids were currently a ombre pink. I just had it done, but decided to get the braids done in a neutral brown color. 1 week before the wedding was the bachelorette. All the girls got together and had what I thought was a nice night out. Anya didn't talk to me at all, but this isn't surprising. I ignored this and just had a good time singing karaoke, drinking and being merry. Late the next day Ned called and told Sven that I'd ruined the whole night. Apparently I'd told another friend of ours that I'd changed my braids specifically for the wedding. However, Anya wanted me to remove the braids altogether. This set me off. I don't really know how to take care of my natural hair, but more importantly, I didn't know my braids classified as unnatural. I suppose it's the least I could do, but it annoys me first of all that Anya never told me herself, and secondly that she really expected me to remove my braids at all. I ended up telling Sven I didn't want to go. Anya has been so consistently horrible to me and this was the last straw. What I haven't mentioned is that my braids cover the large scar on my neck. My natural hair cannot. Sven didn't push me so I didn't go, but I did send him with a present. Anya was pissed, but most of our friends seem to understand my decision. A few still say I'm a bitch and that I could ignore Anya nasty behavior for one day. I know it's her special day and I just didn't want to get comments about the scar. The dress code didn't allow for me to wear a scarf so it would have been visible. I feel like she would have complained about that too. Am I the unreasonable one for not attending her wedding? Also, there is a similar white tie wedding post in the Am I the Unreasonable One thread. It's not related to my story, but it was the incentive I needed to post my story. I'm so sorry for any confusion. Edit 2. I didn't realize until right now that I put best friend in the title. I don't have any excuse for that. I just write too quickly without proofreading. I can't change it unfortunately, so now my stupidity is on display. I want to thank everyone for the kind words and for opening my eyes to the manipulation among some of my friend group. I'm going to show Sven this post and I think it's time I find my own independent group of friends. I'll make an update post if Sven has any interesting insights. F. Not the unreasonable one. Anya is racist. Not the unreasonable one. Anya needs to educate herself on black hair and apologize to you, big time. Also, you deserve friends who recognize and call out racism, whether they are black or not. Get some more of that kind of love in your life. X. Am I the unreasonable one? Friend gave me money decades ago. Return the favor. My best friend gave me $4,000 to start a business 11 years ago. I repaid most, $3,100, and then he insisted I stop because I did a lot of work with him on his house. Never charged. He's my friend. I helped because I love and respect him. He recently fell on hard times because of COVID. I loaned him $10,000 and he has been paying me $250 per week for the last 2 months. I told him we're good. Stop paying, it's a gift. He's pissed because I've refused his payments. He's saying he is worried I will remind him of this. Never would. He's my friend and I live by a rule of don't give money to friends if you want it back. The decades-old friendship is worth more than any monetary amount. Am I the a-hole for refusing his payments? He was in the I have plenty position and now I am. And to add, his loan helped me create a business that has done very well. Soft, you are the unreasonable one because you are prioritizing your act of charity over your friend's dignity. Nah, this is all pride. No respectable person wants to feel like a charity case. You both helped each other. No one likes feeling like there's a debt, even if you said it's cancelled, hanging over them. It can change the interpersonal dynamic. I would say allow him to pay you back so he can feel like he wants to. But if an opportunity to take him/his family out to a nice time pops up, use the money on that to help him build more positive memories of your friendship. Would I be the unreasonable one for letting my son change his name when he's a junior and his father objects? My ex, John Jones, is the father of my son, who is named after him, so our son is John Jones Jr. I chose his middle name, James. John Sr. wasn't involved in a lot of John Jr.'s life, especially the early years, for various reasons, some his fault, some not. When John Jr. was 4, I married my husband, who wanted to adopt John Jr., but John Sr. refused, and initiated custody proceedings. From the time John Jr. was 5 years old, John Sr. has had one weekend a month with him, aside from some patches of time when he didn't use his scheduled weekends. John Jr. is now 11 years old, turning 12 in the first week of September. Due to the cutoff for school years, he'll be starting secondary school, high school, in September. I've asked him what he wanted for his 12th birthday, and he wants to change his name from John James Jones Jr. to James Smith. Smith is my husband's surname. He says he's thought about it for a while. He has more attachment to his stepdad than to John Sr. and doesn't want to be Junior, and he wants us all to have the same surname. I took my husband's name and we have a daughter with that same surname, and I'm currently pregnant with a son. We had to move this summer for work-related reasons, so Junior won't be going to high school with anyone who knows him already, and he views this as the chance for a fresh start as James Smith. I've told Junior that I'll think it over, and I've talked to my husband about it. He's said he would be honored for my son to be a Smith and admitted that Junior had talked to him about this before now, but both my husband and Junior are concerned about John Sr.'s response. I've checked with a lawyer and due to the nature of the custody agreement, I can allow Junior to change his name without John Sr.'s input. He can't contest it, and it doesn't put me at risk of anything like parental alienation. However, I told John Jr. that if he wanted to do this, he had to tell John Sr. first. He did it over speakerphone, and I was in the room. And right after John Jr. told him, SR asked him to leave the room. Once John Jr. left, John Sr. immediately says he can't change his name. I say that he's been thinking about this for a while and he wants to start fresh, and John SR responds that this is his name, says I'm taking the piss, asks if I put him up to it, and then asks me to talk to Junior and try and get him to come around, saying that John Jones is my son, James Smith is a stranger and he wants me to refuse to allow Junior to change his name. He needs one parent to consent, and make him stick with John Jones, saying an 11-year-old is too young to choose his own name. I think I might be in the wrong because John Jr. and John SR already have a strained relationship due to the amount of time they have together and the history there, and I feel like I'm helping Junior push his bio father out of his life, which is something I never wanted to do, and I feel that if I help Junior with this, I'll ruin what's left of his relationship with Senior. There's also the fact that he's 11 and if I asked him 2 years ago what he wanted to change his name to he'd probably have said Butthead McGee. Would I be the unreasonable one for letting him change his name, despite John SR's protests? Not the unreasonable one. Let your son change his name. Not the unreasonable one. John Sr. had the chance to be a father to your son and chose not to. If your son feels more of a parental connection to his stepdad, then I see no issue with allowing him change his name. He seems like he's mature enough to have thought this through for a long time and taking his bio dad's emotions into account. You need to support your son or he will resent you for it. He probably feels alienated from his family due to not sharing a name with everybody else. That's just my thoughts. Am I the unreasonable one for not wanting to bond with my potential stepbrother until there's a DNA test? I'm 16F, with a 13-year-old brother. My mom, 34 years old female, met my soon-to-be have a stepdad, 36 years old male, when I was about 8. I really love my stepdad. He's a better dad to me and my brother than our bio dad. He proposed to mom last New Year. This kid, a 12-year-old, just sort of popped up after they got engaged. Back in January the mom came up to us, with her kid in tow, and in front of everyone basically said, "Remember me? This is your son." So we all found out at the same time. It's not like dad cheated on mom or anything, but there's something about this kid that's a little sus. First off, the kid looks nothing like him. Stepdad has dark hair/eyes and the kid is blonde W green eyes. The mom is also blonde W green eyes, but she's got dark roots so I'm 90% sure she bleaches it. In which case where did the blonde hair come from? My stepdad is also pretty well off, to such an extent that everyone thinks mom's a gold digger when he only made that money after he met her. Plus he's never met his son in 12 years. And the son and mom are literally living within 20 minutes drive of us and have lived in the same town as dad for the son's entire life. Mom and dad were talking about my stepbrother's birthday coming up. I asked mom and dad if they were going to get a DNA test on him or what. They gave each other this look and I called them out on it, and then they said I was old enough to know this. They booked a DNA test, paid for it. All the mom had to do was get the son there. She called to say she'd forgotten and they were already halfway to her parents' house. The house was 6 hours away, so they couldn't just go grab him, and since then she keeps forgetting to send the sample in. I mean, come the F on. This woman 1000% sounds like a con artist to me, and I've said as much to mom and dad. Dad keeps calling this kid his other son or his second son, with my brother being the OG, and keeps saying my brother and this kid should hang out. He's basically got selective blindness for this kid. My actual brother looks more like him than his alleged son does. I've said I'm not going to his birthday party and I don't trust this kid. Also, I don't trust that he is my father's son, and I don't trust his mother specifically. I doubt a 12-year-old is involved in a con, and I got my brother to side with me, so neither of us want to go to the party, but mom and dad have said that they know there's a chance they're not related. But if this is actually his son / my stepbrother, then it would be nice to be involved, and if not, then nothing lost, nothing gained. They've said they won't make me, but asked me to reconsider. I also asked my friend and she said that I shouldn't be getting hung up on someone not being related to my dad given that I'm not related to him. Am I the unreasonable one for not wanting to bond with him until we get DNA tests? Info: my parents paid for / booked the test back in January, within a couple weeks of the mom / kid showing up the first time. The center is about a 30-minute drive and has been open this entire time, but the mom keeps forgetting to take him, so she's forgotten to take him for like 6 months now. Not the unreasonable one. They should definitely insist on a paternity test before bonding and especially before contributing financially, but just remember, none of this is the kid's fault, so be nice to him even if you suspect his mother is lying. Not the unreasonable one. But keep in mind the bad guy here is the mom, not the kid. The situation is definitely suspect and you should definitely be hesitant around the mom, at least until the test. And it's understandable you don't want to bond with the kid, but as there's also a chance what they're saying is the truth, I'd personally probably still go to the party. I mean, worst case, you waste a few hours of your life with a kid you won't see again. Best case, you start your relationship with your step-brother off on a good foot. Am I the unreasonable one for hanging up on my interviewer? I'm on mobile so I apologize. 22 years old female. So, big surprise, I've been having a ton of trouble finding a job during COVID. Since I just graduated from college, I've been applying everywhere to any job I can think of that's remote or in my state. I heard back from a few, but nothing was working out. Then, a few days ago I heard from this one company that claimed to be a big financial firm. I agreed to a phone interview and they sent me a few videos about the history of the company and the setup and compensation and etc. I watched them when they were sent to me, so about 6 hours before my interview, the guy called me and we started talking. Right away he's condescending, saying things like I didn't know girls even understood economics. I was an econ major. He then took to quizzing me on these 2 videos. I mean full-on test format. When I couldn't remember the exact year the company was founded and the names of all the founders, he said, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if you even watched our videos or if you were off wasting your time. Between this and his blatant sexism, I couldn't take it. I just hung up. My friends think I'm TA here because a job is a job no matter how miserable. I think I made the right choice. After all, I don't want to work somewhere with this being the first impression. Plus I rewatched one of the videos and this is 100% an MLM. But still, I feel a little bad. So Reddit, am I the unreasonable one? Also grammar. Update. Hi y'all, thanks for your comments. I read through all of them and I feel really validated. Job searches are just atrocious right now because a lot of employers know that we're all scrambling for anything. After reading, I decided to go to Glassdoor and leave a little review about the interview process. I also sent the recruiter who connected me to the job a quick email basically explaining what happened. I've been in some pretty toxic work environments before and refuse to let it happen to me again. Knowing my worth is something I pride myself on. Edit 3. Some of you mentioned my friends. It's really opened my eyes to the fact that the people I surround myself with are making excuses for sexism. Not experiencing it is not an excuse for allowing it or being complacent to it. So I started going through our interactions and I realized that geez, my friends are sexist. It's super subtle, But it's there. Small things like you're a girl, so if you go to the bar you'll get us drinks for free, and things like I didn't think you would be allowed to see us without your boyfriend have been tossed around my group, and I deserve better. Thank you all for opening my eyes to the fact that I surrounded myself with intolerance. I deserve better friends. Not the unreasonable one. If he was this unprofessional in the interview when he is supposed to be practically trying to court you to come work there, F knows how bad he would be once you were actually working there. Big red flags, and you were right to drop it right then and there. Not the unreasonable one. You did the right thing. Honestly, I'd look into reporting him or leaving reviews on job sites about this encounter so other people can avoid this disaster of a company. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.